What if a small error could lead to disaster? Continental Express Flight 2574 faced this grim reality. On a routine trip, it tragically broke apart mid-air. In this video, we'll explore the key factors behind this accident. Understanding what led to this fatal mistake is crucial. It started on September 11, 1996, a seemingly normal flight. The aircraft was a CASA 212, carrying 19 passengers and crew. Shortly after takeoff, the problems began. The crew reported ice accumulation on the wings. They attempted to clear it using flaps but failed. A critical mistake occurred here: ignored warnings. Ignoring cockpit alerts led to severe aerodynamic problems. As the aircraft climbed, the ice affected its performance. The crew failed to stabilize it, causing a stall. The plane entered a steep descent, uncontrollable. A critical lack of training became apparent at this moment. Crew members didn't fully recognize their situation. They lost vital seconds that could have saved lives. Simultaneously, their understanding of aircraft limitations faltered. This sequence of errors spiraled into catastrophe. Now let's compare this to a familiar scenario. Imagine driving on a snowy road without proper tires. Ignoring the danger, you accelerate. Soon, you lose control and crash. This analogy illustrates the importance of safety awareness. In aviation, even tiny mistakes can have dire consequences. So, what can we learn from Flight 2574? Firstly, thorough training is essential. Secondly, pilots must remain vigilant to aircraft performance. Using checklists can help ensure nothing is overlooked. Lastly, respecting cockpit warnings saves lives. Let's summarize the key points clearly. Flight 2574 faced challenges due to icing conditions. Crew error and lack of training played significant roles. Understanding aircraft limits is vital for safety. Every flight requires complete attention and respect for warnings. Now, it's time to ensure your safety awareness at all times. Consider what you can do to improve your knowledge. Subscribe for more insights on aviation safety and accidents. Stay informed and stay safe in the skies. Understanding the sequence of events leading to the tragedy allows us to appreciate the gravity of each moment. Each decision made by the crew, whether to heed warnings or not, played a pivotal role. As the aircraft struggled with the accumulating ice, the clock ticked down to disaster. Crew members were tasked with rising pressure, and unfortunately, they faltered. A lack of adherence to protocol combined with situational misinterpretation sealed their fate. Their struggle to regain control was marred by confusion and panic, as time slipped away. Each passing second magnified the significance of their actions, underlining the need for decisive measures in critical situations. Meanwhile, passengers remained blissfully unaware of the unfolding crisis, trusting in the crew's capability to navigate safely. Thus, the divide between perception and reality grew, as desperation filled the cockpit. The cockpit alarms blared, a cacophony of warnings that the crew could no longer afford to ignore. Each beep signified a potential path to safety, yet the intense pressure clouded their judgment, leaving them competing against time. As the aircraft suddenly lurched, the reality of their predicament began to dawn on them, prompting an urgent scramble to regain control. In those frantic moments, clarity fought through chaos, a final glimmer of hope hung in the air, even as the ground rushed closer, marked by the grim certainty of catastrophe looming ahead. As the reality of their situation became clearer, the crew realized the repercussions of their earlier choices. They tried to communicate effectively, but the urgency left little room for calm decision-making. Every maneuver they attempted seemed futile against the relentless pull of gravity. Panic set in, transforming the cockpit into a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions as they fought desperately to correct their course. The realization hit that their fate was sealed, each second counted against them. Outside, the landscape blurred beneath them, a haunting reminder of what was slipping away. Thus, in those final moments, the weight of their training, or lack thereof, bore down on them, amplifying the tragedy of Flight 2574. In a flash, understanding the gravity of safety protocols became imperative for everyone involved in aviation. As the ground loomed ever closer, the crew's frantic attempts collided with the harsh truth of their dire situation. Every instinct urged them to push forward, yet the plane's responses betrayed them at every turn. This created a compelling narrative of desperation, a battle against time that showcased human fragility in the face of mechanical challenges. Ultimately, despite their best efforts, the ever-approaching Earth heralded the end of Flight 2574, a somber reminder of the critical importance of awareness, training, and respect for aviation safety. In conclusion, the tragedy of Continental Express Flight 2574 illustrates the devastating impact of small errors and poor training in aviation. The lessons learned emphasize that vigilance and adherence to safety protocols are not just protocols, they are lifelines that protect lives in dire situations. As the aircraft continued its uncontrolled descent, the crew's frantic efforts underscored the urgency of their dire predicament. Alarms blared insistently, yet clarity was lost amid the chaos, leaving them grappling with their growing sense of helplessness. Time dwindled, and with every second that passed, they became more acutely aware of their surroundings, realizing the grim reality of their impending fate. Passengers, still unaware, were thrown into confusion as the plane rattled violently, the sense of normalcy shattered by the looming disaster. Suddenly, one of the crew members recalled the training they had previously underestimated, urging their colleagues to focus and execute emergency procedures. As they attempted to regain control, the memory of rigorous drills surfaced, but the pressure of the moment had distorted their responses. Each movement was frantic, a testament to the intense fear gripping their hearts, as they fought amidst the thunderous roar of engines and alarms. The crew's resolve faltered as their attempts became increasingly frantic. With each passing moment, they were inundated with conflicting thoughts. The weight of responsibility felt heavier than ever. For the passengers, their sudden apprehension morphed into terror, while vibrations shook the fuselage, clearly hinting at the danger they faced. In the cockpit, time constraints clouded judgment further. Instead of systematic problem-solving, decisions became mere reactions in a desperate race against fate. One member finally broke through the noise, offering a precise command that reminded everyone of their training. In that split second, clarity emerged from chaos. They rallied, listening to the voice of reason. However, gravity did not wait for their newfound focus, and the aircraft still plummeted ominously through the turbulent skies. With renewed determination, the crew refocused their efforts, synchronizing their actions to maximize any chance of recovery. They began to systematically follow the emergency protocols, a lifeline amid the rising panic. Each step taken became an embodiment of their training, reinforcing the critical need for remaining calm and composed even in the direst scenarios. As they battled against the overwhelming force of descent, their hearts raced, yet flickers of hope illuminated their path forward. It became clear that every second mattered. They needed to commit fully to the procedures that could avert catastrophe. The plane's shuddering intensified as ice continued to wreak havoc, a stark reminder of the earlier errors that had compounded their crisis. With a unified effort, they executed each maneuver methodically, striving for the faintest chance of regaining control over the aircraft. Outside the cockpit, the world blurred in a cascade of lights and colors, an unsettling panorama rushing beneath them, while the cabin filled with an eerie silence as passengers sensed the gravity of their predicament. They were engaged in a delicate dance between survival and defeat, and though the odds seemed slim, the crew channeled their training one last time. As the aircraft neared the ground, they fought against the inevitable with all their might, determined to rewrite their fate through sheer will and focus. Their hearts raced with the realization that time was slipping away, yet a flicker of hope emerged as they recalled critical protocols embedded in their training. Each member of the crew voiced a reassuring plan, focusing on what steps could still be taken to stabilize the aircraft. The pre-flight checklists they had once deemed monotonous now seemed invaluable, guiding them through the volatile chaos. With every small decision, they fought to reclaim control from the jaws of disaster, rallying together as a united front against the looming tragedy. Their breath came in quick bursts as adrenaline coursed through their veins, the need for decisive action clear and compelling. As the aircraft pitched violently, they executed their responses with heightened urgency, striving to defy gravity's relentless grip. A shared, silent understanding passed among them, every instinct honed in moments of calm must now prevail against the maelstrom surrounding them. Steeling their resolve, they committed to their chosen course of action, embracing the weight of responsibility resting heavily on their shoulders. The cockpit transformed into a battlefield of concentration, teamwork, and an unwavering dedication to survival, with the ground rushing closer, each passing second steeped in gravity. As they struggled against the elements, the realization struck that the true test of their training lay now more than ever in their ability to stay focused and communicate effectively amid the chaos. Each of their voices rose above the clamoring warnings and the roaring of the engines as they tried to make their intentions clear. The cabin took on a surreal quality, passengers exchanged glances, caught in a moment suspended between disbelief and terror, anxious thoughts racing through their minds. With a sobering clarity, one crew member keyed into the radio, transmitting their dire circumstances, seeking immediate assistance. The urgency echoed through the airwaves as they described their plight, hoping for a lifeline. In the background, alarms continued to blare, a relentless reminder of the precarious balance they teetered upon. Meanwhile, other crew members executed checks, verifying their systems amidst the spiraling chaos, striving to stabilize their descent. With each transmission, they endeavored to connect with ground control, believing support and guidance might still be within reach, offering a flicker of hope against the overwhelming odds they faced. The moments stretched out interminably as the crew fought against the weight of despair. Each attempt to regain control felt increasingly futile, yet surrender was not an option. They clung to the vestiges of hope, driven by the responsibility to their passengers and each other. Just then, a sudden jolt shook the aircraft violently, and time seemed to pause. An eerie quiet enveloped the cabin as if it collectively held its breath. With an adrenaline-fueled surge, they executed another maneuver, fleetingly catching a glimpse of their surroundings through the cockpit windows as the ground rushed closer. Despite their growing desperation, they focused on one another, determined to bind their efforts into a cohesive response. The pilots exchanged glances, a confirmation of their resolve illuminating the fear etched across their faces. It became clear that every moment mattered in this delicate dance with fate, compelling them to dig deeper into their training and resourcefulness. The crew, engulfed in urgency, continued their calculations almost instinctively, their training surfacing amid the chaos. With an unwavering focus, they executed maneuvers that seemed like a blur, yet in their minds, the steps were methodical. Each adjustment to the control yoke was a plea for stability, a desperate dance against gravity. Outside, the landscape blurred into a chaotic mix of colors as they descended, hoping against hope for an unthinkable recovery. Continental Express Flight 2574 remains a haunting reminder of the fragility of life, and the importance of rigorous training. Through the lessons learned from this tragedy, we can foster a culture of accountability and preparedness in aviation. By prioritizing safety and vigilance, we honor the memory of those lost, striving to ensure that